Today we're drawing a super fun little scene. Two ghosts having the best time skipping together, and the whole piece has that lovely retro texture I love using. It's such a simple, light-hearted illustration, and I think you'll really enjoy playing around with the colours and the textures on this one. You can grab the free Procreate sketch and colour palette from the description box below, and I've also listed the brushes I'm using, but of course feel free to use whatever you prefer. Alright, let's get started. These are the canvas dimensions and colour profile I'm using. Okay, so I have my sketch here, and what I'll do is I'll just select the background here. I've got my palette. I'm going to select the darkest colour for the background. Let's select the sketch group. Select each layer in the sketch group. I'm going to just take it down to about 40 or 50%, and then click on the layer and press invert. And let's do the same with each layer. Click, invert. Invert, close this. Create two new layers. Select both, group. I'll call this BG for background. Select the bottom layer here. Actually, just before we do that, let's close this. Let's take the sketch and just pop it on top. I'll select the bottom layer here. I'm going to be using the raw pen at about 23%. Going to select the second color from the left. Yes, just make sure we're on layer 5. And I'm just going to create this straight line, so just using the sketch as our guide. Just start here and just make a rough straight line. Doesn't have to be perfect, but don't let go at the end, and we'll determine the end point. So I'm just going to try and make it as straight as possible. Then I'll drag this color here. We're going to keep the pen, and I'll select this color here, fourth from the left. I might just go to the sketch layers and turn off ghosts and text, just so we don't get too confused. I'll select this layer here, and I'm just going to create this shape on the wall with the light coming through. And we can use that straight line trick, so I'll just draw a straight line, hold it, don't release, make a relatively straight line for all sides now. Make sure the shape is closed off, and then we can fill this in with color. Next, I'll create a new layer on top. I'll select this first color from the left, and I'm just going to create this shape here and then fill it in with color. Hold the pen, draw a line roughly, don't let go, so you can determine the end point. Make sure this shape is closed off, and drop the color in. And I'll continue using the raw pen at about 14%. Going to select the lightest color in the center. I'm going to turn the ghost sketch on, and I will draw an outline of both ghosts and then fill it in with color. Actually, before I do start that, I'm just going to close these, create two new layers, select both, group, rename, call this ghosts, select the bottom layer, and let's go ahead. Fill that in with color. Now let's do the big ghost. fill that in with color. Now before we go ahead, I'm just going to turn the sketch off. Just wanted to zoom in. Just going to fix this. You can kind of see the outline on this brush just gives this nice little imperfect edge, just adds to the final charm of the illustration. Next we'll use the splatter shader, 6%. I'm going to use this color here, fourth from the right. Let's select this layer here and press clipping mask. For those of you who don't know how a clipping mask works, anything we place on layer 10 will be clipped to these ghost shapes on layer 9. And we're just going to add this really gorgeous kind of texture and shadow to the ghosts. Just might take it down in size a tad here and just do that. And now I'm just going to grab the eraser, that raw pen is fine here, and I'll just erase back like so. Here, a little over here. Let's just zoom in. And let's just turn the ghost sketch on just so we can see what we're doing here. And I'm just going to raise a little bit back here, like so. And raise back a little over here. Let's turn the sketch off. Go back to the brush, might just take it back up to 6% and just a tiny little shadow here. Okay, so now for the next job, I'm going to use the mighty pencil at around 30%. The color that I'll use is the darkest color. Let's turn the ghost sketch on and create a new layer on top here. And we're just going to add the facial features. I might just turn the opacity down on this a tiny bit, 15%. Go back to this layer here. Next I'm going to use this really cool brush, Fairy Dust, at around 16%. I'll use the fourth color from the left. Let's close this and this. Open up the background group. Select this layer here. Create a new layer on top. Clipping mask. And we're just going to add this really beautiful texture here and there to this area here, this green area here. Now we'll select the first color on the left and select layer number 5, create a new layer on top, clipping mask, and we'll add a similar texture to this area here and here. And on this side. Now let's select this layer here, create a new layer on top. I'll just grab this layer and pop it on top like so. We've lost the clipping marks, but that's fine. Just select that again. Select that color here. I'll be using this fourth color from the left. And before we go ahead, I'm going to select the creamy charcoal brush. Just take it down a little bit. We'll try it like so. And we're just going to add a little bit of this light extending around the ghosts. So around here, and a little bit going up like so. Actually, I might just take it down in opacity a bit. So let's go back. Let's try it around 50-55%. And we can increase the size a little bit and take the opacity down a little bit more. And I'll do a similar thing over this side. So I'll just take it up a bit and down. And let's bring the size up, take the opacity down, and just sort of work your way out like so. Take the opacity down a bit more. Now I'll just bring the opacity up slightly, brush size down a little, and I'm just going to create this panel of light next to the main wall here. Maybe take it down in size a little bit more. Take the opacity down. And up. Now this side. Brush size up. Opacity down. Opacity down. Up. And just work this area in just a tiny bit more, like so. Okay, at this stage I'm just going to switch to the lightest cream color right in the center. I'll select this layer, create a new layer on top. I'm going to keep the brush, the creamy charcoal, and let's bring the opacity up to about 42%. And I'll just take down the size 34%. I'm just going to add this kind of lighter texture just right at the top, like so. And I'll take the opacity down and just sort of blend it in to the rest here, so it looks like it's a gradual blend, like so. Next I'll be using the wet and dry brush, really cool brush, at about 12%. I'm going to select the darkest color here, sketch. I'll turn the ghost sketch on, and I may need to bring the opacity up a little bit just so I can see the legs, and I'm struggling to see them here, but what we can do is just momentarily I will turn the background color off and this color off, and make sure you're in the ghosts group, create a new layer, just pop that over here we've lost the clipping mask, which usually happens when that is done. Clipping mask, go back to layer 17. And I'm just going to add the legs. Now you can't see them that well, that's fine. Just sort of work your way in around the sketch here, and we'll hope for the best. If not, we can fix it up later. Now I'll just turn this layer back on, and the background layer. Turn the ghost sketch off just so we can see, and what I might do is I might just do this one again. It's just a little bit too worked. It should be a little bit more rough, not that perfect. Okay, and sketch back on. If you can't see it, increase the opacity up to 100. I can kind of just make it out here, so go back to the pen and fill this leg in. Turn the sketch layer off, and that's looking okay. Next I'll be using the gritty crayon at about 10%. The color will be this third color from the right. Turn the ghost sketch on. You can turn the opacity down a tad, up to you. Select this layer, create a new layer on top, and we're just going to add the skipping rope. Turn the sketch off. Might just grab the eraser and just erase back a tiny tad here. Now for the magic rugged texture, I'll use this at around 9%. Select this color here. Let's create a new layer I should say, on top. And we're just going to take the opacity down to about 15, 16% is fine. And I'm just going to add these gorgeous rosy cheeks. Now I'll use the rugged marker. Now around 16-17% is fine. I'm going to select these colors first from the left. The sketch back on. Turn the opacity up a tad. Close this, close this. Actually, we'll go back to the ghosts. Select this layer here. Create a new layer on top. Just grab this layer and pop it on top. Select this layer. And I'm just going to create these shadows underneath the ghosts and then fill it in. And fill that in. Turn the sketch off, and I'll select multiply, take it down to about 40 or so%. Now I'm going to go back to the creamy charcoal brush. 29-30% is fine. I'll select the pink color. The opacity I'm going to take down to about 3 or 4%. Select this color here. Create a new layer. clipping mask. I'm just going to add this slight pink shading to behind the ghosts. So I can brush those up a tad. And I'll just take the opacity down on this ever so slightly. 77% is fine. Now I'll use the wet and dry brush at around 25% is fine. We'll use the pink colour. Let's close these groups. Create 2 new layers. Select both, group, rename. I'll call this speech. Select the bottom layer. Select the sketch, turn on the text sketch, turn off the ghost sketch, and add this speech bubble. Take it down in size a tad. Now I'll select the orange colour here. Select that layer, and we'll do this speech bubble. Now let's take it down to about 80%. I'll select the lightest colour, create a new layer, and I'll just add some of this text here. Create a new layer here, and I'll add this text here. Create a new layer, and I'll just add this detail here. Now I'm going to use this really cool brush, aerosol spray, at around say 49% is fine here. We'll use the second darkest green, second from the left. Let's just close all of these groups. Create a new layer on top here. And we're basically going to, I was supposed to select the aerosol spray, so just make sure that that's selected. Yeah, about 48%. And I'm just going to add this really cool texture like so to the entire canvas. It's done pretty quickly. Just adds this kind of cool texture. It's a little bit too pronounced at the moment, overpowering. But I am going to go to the blending modes and select difference. Missed it before. There we go. And if I zoom up, you can see it just kind of added this gorgeous sort of texture to the entire illustration, even on the dark bits. Now for the final step, I'm going to be using this really cool brush, fuzzy filler, 100%. Correction, I'm just going to use it at around 15%. So just go in and draw a line. Don't release, and because you can change the angle, and just make sure that's roughly about straight. You can just sort of fill it in like that. Now let's all do all edges. One last thing that I'm going to do is, let's get to the speech. I'm just going to select this, then the arrow, and I'm just going to move it over a tad so it's more centered, that's all. And that's it, our 2 playful ghosts are all done. I hope you enjoyed drawing along and had fun adding those lovely retro textures. Let's just go in and have a look at the detail. Just zoom in here and just wanted to show you the gorgeous border with that beautiful texture. We got that effect quite quickly. And look at those textures in those speech bubbles. And then we've got that beautiful subtle little texture all throughout the illustration. Just adds that kind of retro touch. And that gorgeous brush on the legs. I mean, just look at that texture. And yeah, we've got this beautiful effect here on the floor with those gorgeous textures, as well as on the wall here. And have a look at the skipping rope. All those little imperfections add so much charm to our illustration. So if you like this tutorial, give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.